everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the WIT Podcast, where we have engaging conversations that make you wonder, what is that? Yeah. Today, I am joined by a very exciting guest, Ofentse.
Yes. I'm excited to be here.
I'm really excited to have you here just because we had... Was it ice cream? And I loved your story.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a good one. You have to tell us more there, right there. So we're talking about getting divorced young and reinventing yourself, because I feel like we have a whole new version of you from what you told me. But before we get into it, introduce yourself. What would you like people to know about you?
All right. So, Hi, everyone. My name is Ofentse. I'm from South Africa, living in Kenya. I am a life coach. I am a mom of 1.5 on the way. A wife, and just like a bubbly individual that really loves living.
You are bubbly. You are very bubbly. We met online.
Yes.
Then we met at the women's event at Kempinski.
Yes, at Kempinski.
Yeah, that was the first time. I was like, this person is so bubbly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved your energy. And we share a birthday.
Yes.
We share a due date.
Imagine.
It's so interesting. I love it. So I want to know a little bit more about yourself, because I know you just didn't wake up and become a life coach. Life happened.
No, life happened. There was a lot of life.
happened. And especially in the aspect of marriage, divorce, then reinventing yourself in that space.
Yeah.
I found that your story, whatever bit you shared, was quite catchy enough for me to be like, I think someone will learn from this.
Yeah.
I think someone will really gain from this conversation. So I want to know about Ofentse, like before marriage. Who was that girl? And how old? Like, take us back to before marriage. Who was that girl?
Baby
what
girl.
was her view? You were a baby girl.
I was a baby girl. I mean, not a baby girl in that sense, but I was a baby girl.
You were a baby.
Like, I was so young, but so serious about life as well. So I am the child of a pastor.
Oh.
So obviously, pastor's kid, you know how that is, you know, how things are expected of you. And I took my title very seriously. Ooh. So I was very much a God girl, Jesus girl, like, you know, love Jesus and all of that.
Yeah.
Not that anything's changed, but I was very into it.
You were very into
on fire.
Deep. Holy Ghost there.
I was blood washed. Tongue talking, devil kicking. That was me. Also very focused at school, loved school. I'm the firstborn of 3. So I have a younger brother and a younger sister. And I just grew up knowing like that I wanted to have a big life, like make something of myself. And just a very ambitious person. So I took school very seriously, was number 1 in my class and all of that. And like that kid.
You're like me. I was like,
really?
what? Yeah. Focused.
Very, very focused. Yes. Very focused. Girl, books over boys.
Yeah.
Always. And only in university did I think about boys. But it was just so interesting just to notice the plan that I had for myself, the plan that I had for my life, and just how things unfolded after that. Because it was unfolding in that direction until it stopped unfolding in that direction. Yeah. But she was also somebody who was also very bubbly, also very inquisitive, loved knowledge, loved growth, loved personal development, a little bit of a hippie, just a tiny bit, and yeah, just somebody who loved life.
Nice.
That's who I was.
So when you were heading to get married, what did you envision marriage to look like? What was that for you?
I think it was just based on what my mom and my dad's marriage looked like.
Oh, okay.
Because they were married until my dad passed away. And it was just a beautiful union, 2 people that love one another, people that are building a family. Oh, I took that also very seriously. I used to listen to Focus on the Family by Dr. James Dobson.
You revise even in that area before you get into it.
Dr. James Dobson was my mentor for when I was 14.
Who is that? At 14?
Listen, at 14, I'm sitting listening to Focus on the Family. How do you raise a family?
Really?
How do
you
you
took it seriously.
I'm telling you,
Yes.
how do you show up as a wife in a marriage? You know, like I
Yeah.
was very serious about taking this mandate onwards because my dad used to preach a lot about families and how family units are the
important
basis of society.
Yes.
And so I wanted to contribute to that with the way that I raise my children, the way that I show up for my husband and whatnot.
Yeah.
So that's what I imagined. I imagined we're going to be together. We're going to have children. We're going to grow as a couple. We're going to raise them in the way of the
naturally,
Lord. All of that.
Yeah.
So I imagined a happily ever after, but like church version vibes.
I like that, but I must say you're unique. 14.
Listen.
14.
I was way too serious for my life. Like I was too I should have been playing.
I think you gave up vibes like you were planning. Like you finish school, you get married, you get a job, you get babies. Like perfect. The way people picture perfect. The way people just envision.
100%.
Ooh,
100%.
So tell me about you getting into marriage. How old were you?
I was 20... I think I was 22 or 23.
Oh, 23. You were a baby.
I was little. I had just finished university. So I graduated from my honors in economics. And then I started working. But in my first year of work, at the end of that year, that's when I got married.
Woo!
First year
after dating for long or just...
We dated for 3 years.
Okay.
So I met him in university. We were together for 3 years and then we got married after that. So I kind of knew him, but we were friends before that because I met him in my first year, second year, somewhere there. So we were friends for a little bit before that and then we dated and then we decided to get married.
Life?
Married life for the first 6 months, let me tell you something, girl, it was amazing.
Ooh, nice.
It was everything that I dreamed of. It was... Oh my God. Like,
I'm a wife.
I'm a wife. Like, it was a girl. I was out there changing my surname on everything.
You went all the way.
I mean, girl, what you talking about?
And you've been practicing since you were 14 at that time.
Mrs. Don't
Documents.
Get it wrong.
I haven't even.
All of the documents, every single one. I found every lost card. Even those store cards that just didn't need you to... Every last card, loyalty cards, even down to the loyalty cards, honey. Down to the loyalty cards. I had to change. I was very dedicated.
You were in it.
Like,
for good.
You know the Proverbs 31 woman?
Yeah.
That was me.
You had revised.
Literally. Girl, for a long time even. For a long time. So it was blissful and it was great because I think it was because I was in that. It's not really my personality. I don't want to lie. Like in the Proverbs 31 woman vibe, and he was the type of guy that he was. It gelled, like it worked so well. He was taking care of us, like I was taking care of him in my own way, and we were just really, really happy. I remember we did a lot of premarital counseling. Then we did intramarital counseling, if that's the thing, just for the health of the relationship.
Wow.
Just for the health of the relationship. And I remember the pastor saying, you're so happy, like I don't understand what's going on. And I'm like, no, I do everything that, biblically. I'm a girl of the book, so like I would follow things.
Yeah.
Like that. But the problem is that it wasn't completely aligned with my personality. So then I started burning out because I was doing too much.
Doing too much?
I was doing too much. Like I was doing way too much.
Ooh.
And so that's where the burnout started. And then the resentment started building. And then it just started becoming not what I wanted anymore.
This is how many years in?
This is 1.5 years, 2 years in.
That's when you started burning out?
Yeah. Yeah.
You did it for long.
I pushed, girl. I pushed.
It must work.
I pushed. It worked. And I think actually, to be honest, one of the things that created the biggest resentment, believe it or not, is that, okay, growing up, we weren't allowed to watch television. So I'm not a big television person. We used to only watch it on weekends. And so in the second year of our marriage, we decided to buy a TV. And he obviously did not grow up the same way as me. And so it was him behind the TV and then me doing the rest of the work in the house. And it was no longer that beautiful little partnership that we had worked up together, where we actually run the household together. And it became a one-sided operation. And that's when the burnout started setting in. And yeah, so the TV was one of the biggest mistakes
Wow.
for me.
Were you working at this point
Yeah,
in
yeah.
your marriage? You're still working?
Yeah, we were working.
Oh.
We were working.
Okay.
Yeah, like, and for me, it was just the fact that I was working at home and even
now working
in the home, I mean in the office.
Yeah.
And my job was
Burnout.
demanding.
Burnout. Total.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting that it's just the TV. It starts,
I mean,
it started that small,
snowballing
Yeah.
from there. Because I mean, I would feel resentful, like somebody sitting down and chilling
the whole day.
Not the whole day. I mean, when he comes back
Most
from
of the
work,
time,
right?
yeah.
And then I'm cooking, and then I have to serve, and then I have to wash the dishes when I'm done.
Looks like you had expectations there, like they're not watching the way you never used to watch.
Yeah.
So you're expecting a weekend thing.
Yeah.
And you're not into the TV anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know people who the TV personalities can stretch the marriage. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do. Like exactly what you said. Like I leave work, I come home, I just want to watch TV, relax. And someone is like, can you do something more constructive? Can you read a book?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those two personalities, I don't know why we marry each other.
Why? But they say opposites attract. That's literally
really
it. Polarity is such a big thing in relationships.
Yeah. So when did you discover that this marriage is not working? Because I can imagine preparing for long.
Yes.
And the way you've said you grew up, this was a thing you've prepared for long.
Yeah.
You don't think this is going to end.
Yeah.
What was that breaking point for you?
There were two. One, he made a statement that I was like, I am not having kids with this man. Because he said he's never going to change a diaper in his life. I was like, excuse me.
Just that.
That is enough. Okay. But it clearly wasn't enough because I didn't make a decision at that point. I just was just like, this birth control I'm on is not going anywhere. Like it's not moving. I need him to change that statement. Otherwise, I'm not signing up to be a married single mom. That's not the cross I want to die on.
Yeah.
And then the second was, okay, so we had been living in a different city. We had been living in Cape Town. Then we moved to Gauteng. It's near Joburg, but I mean, Vanderbijl Park is a small town, but it's near Joburg somehow. And as we were living there, we were like growing to get a family. We bought a house, we bought a new car. And in all of those changes that were happening, I was noticing that I wasn't feeling as like the affection. I wasn't feeling as loved, as wanted, as desired. It was almost like we were just, doing the marriage thing. Yeah, like just living together. And just that connection was missing, and I could feel that it was getting further and further. And then we had I was feeling also myself getting further away from myself. So that girl that I described before marriage, she was no longer there. Like I was a shadow of myself.
Yeah,
like I was a shadow of myself. And I don't know if my friends saw it. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't.
Are there changes in your social life that you had made, maybe?
Not really. Not that I noticed, because everybody was shocked.
Oh.
So it seemed to me that it was only me that was realizing that I'm moving further away from myself.
Okay.
But everybody else just seemed, also, no, this is why. Because I'm a chameleon, like a personality chameleon. So I'm a different person in front of different people. So they're not really sure who I am. Yeah. I'm much more authentic now. But at the time, I was very much a chameleon, like a harmon. Just as long as it keeps the peace, I'm going to be that.
Keeping the peace. I saw that. There's this audio that's been going around. Keeping the peace for who?
Exactly.
It's not for you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in the midst of that, I noticed myself slipping away from myself, and then I asked him as a what do you call a submissive wife, if I could go and see a therapist. No, girl, I was that deep.
Yeah.
I was that deep. I asked him, can I go and see a therapist because I'm feeling off?
Yeah.
And then he was like, no,
No.
You can't see a therapist because I know everything that's wrong with you. And I can tell you right now, girl,
Whoa.
when I tell you that was the second one, and I was just like,
did you receive what he said was wrong with you? I mean, the fact that he just said, no, you can't see a therapist.
It's the fact that he said no. I mean, the fact that I had to ask, but let's leave that one.
Yeah, that's on you.
That's on me.
Yeah.
But the fact that he said no, and he had the audacity to say, I know exactly what's wrong with you, when I knew that it was because of some of the ways that he was behaving, that I was feeling gaslit, I was feeling unvalidated, I was feeling the distance. And he was just like, no, I'm fine. You're the one with the problem.
Oof.
So that was the second time. That was the moment that I realized, okay, this is unraveling.
That's suffocating.
It's unraveling.
Yeah.
So I went to go see the therapist, and after I had a couple of sessions with her.
I love that you still went.
Yeah, I mean, I was just like, I don't care, it's fine. I need to fix myself. At this point, I'm the one who's struggling mentally. And so I went to see the therapist, and after a couple of sessions and talking to her, I realized I am not going crazy.
Yeah.
Like everything that I'm feeling is valid.
Yeah.
And like after being validated, then I realized that I don't see a future here. But because I'm a Christian girl, there's no
leaving.
Ooh. So I had to work on working on it. So this was in the beginning of the third year of our marriage. It was in the third year of our marriage, just in the third year. And yeah, man, I just knew at that point that it's over, but it can't be over because...
But it can be over.
You know, so then I was like, let's go for couples therapy. He didn't want to do that. Let's do this. He didn't want to do that.
For people who were doing therapy before, and at the beginning, why the change?
Yeah, like there was so much that had changed about him. Because of the ideologies that he had been, exposing himself to and stuff like that. There was a lot that changed. And perhaps maybe even about me.
Change is constant.
Yeah, it's constant.
Yeah.
It's constant. And so he was no longer in that same space. And also the counselors that we were going to have were different than the first counselors. Yeah. Maybe if it was the first counselors, he would have obliged because he admired that guy, the pastor, and his marriage. Yeah. So that's how I knew that it's over. It's not going to work. And then I asked him, because you know how we do, we always want confirmation.
Validation.
Do you love me? And he took the longest pause I've ever experienced in my life.
Oh my God.
He took the longest pause. I was like, okay, this is, okay.
It's giving Kenneth.
It's giving Kenneth.
Love is blind.
It's giving Kenneth. I was some Britney vibe. I was just like, what is going on here? For real. And he gave the longest pause and he was just like so unsure. I think eventually he said yes. I don't even remember what the answer was.
But you got your answer.
But I got what I needed to get there.
Yeah.
And I remember the end of that conversation, he was like, dude, if you want to leave, you know?
Ooh, no.
That was the coffin. The nail on the coffin. And I remember that was like in April of that year. I remember that conversation. It was literally the last time I was like, okay, I'm breaking up with you in my heart. Because I can't be I can't be in a relationship like this.
Ooh.
Like it was the first time that separation, divorce, or anything had ever been put on the table by any one of us. Yeah. Because we were all always willing to work towards something. But he was just like, if you want to leave.
I hear we should learn to listen to men. They really don't mix their words.
They don't. They say what they mean and they mean what they say.
Yeah, it's up to you to receive it.
In that moment, I could have just gotten everything that I needed.
You took how long?
6 months.
Fair.
It took 6 months.
It's fair because you're adjusting mentally to very many things of what could have been. Is there any hope? 6 more months of living mentally first, because most women live mentally first.
Yeah, that's it.
Then the physical is so easy.
No, the
after
physical,
that.
Who cares at that point?
So was it amicable?
The separation?
Point? Yes.
Of course not.
Oh,
of course not. I mean, for me, the reason why I left, and I probably wouldn't have left if I'm being completely honest, but the only reason that I left is because I found out that he was actually having an affair at the time. So when he said, if you want to leave, he was 4 months deep within that situation. And then when I found out, it was like obviously a whole lot, like it was in the 9th month of their togetherness. And I was so relieved. I don't want to lie. No, I was relieved because I wanted.
Now you have a reason to leave.
Yeah, I really wanted to leave, but I didn't know how to because I'm a Christian girl.
Where
like
do
you don't just
start?
leave
Yeah.
because we're not vibing anymore. Like that's not a reason.
Yeah.
But he cheated. Aibo.
Bye.
Mama, he cheated.
Now you have a reason.
Take me back. Seriously.
So
I was
once
very
you discovered
relieved.
that was it.
That was it. That was it for me.
Ooh.
I remember doing some silly things in that moment. Actually, just rewind maybe a month or 2 before, I got a prophecy from another pastor. He was like, God is trying to tell you something in one ear, but you're not listening. So he's going to shut it if you don't listen.
Yeah.
To him. And it was actually around this whole issue because the next question he asked me was like, where's your husband? And I was like, he's not here. He just dropped me off at this conference. And he was just like, I don't want to tell you anything that I'm seeing here.
You can see.
Bruh.
If you want to see, you'll see.
I didn't want to see. But I saw eventually, which was at the right time because I was emotionally in the right space and also physically in the right space. Like it just so happened that we had rented out the house that we were living in and we were now staying at my friend's house for a temporary amount of time.
Yeah.
And so at that time, it just made so much sense to be like, look, it's fine. You go your way, I go mine. And that was
it.
That was it.
Wow.
It was amicable in the sense that nobody was fighting anybody.
Yeah. Doesn't mean there were no feelings of betrayal, hurt.
Did I feel betrayed? Maybe
you just processed it.
I think I've processed it. I processed. I think had I found out at the beginning, it would have been really, really hectic.
Yeah.
But I found out at the right time when I had already decided what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I already had my deal breakers in place. I already had, like, it was just
you were just waiting for
a
that
boundary.
one thing. That was
it. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it. Even though I was like, okay, it mustn't look like I was waiting for this moment. So let me say, okay, let's go for counseling or let's.
Did you?
I did.
You did?
I did. I was like, let's go for counseling.
Just to try
again. I don't know. But like, because like, it was the pressure from the church, right? Like you have to have looked like you
have to
you
tried.
tried.
You really tried.
Yeah, but I did. I said, do that, do this. I think I gave him 4 conditions to meet. He must tell his parents what happened. He must.
Did he?
No.
He wasn't even willing?
No, I told his parents. I had to call them up and be like, look, if you're wondering why I don't... or like why you don't hear my voice in the background, it's because I'm not there anymore. And this is the reason why. And then he told his side of the story, and obviously it made me look not so great, but whatever.
It's very interesting. Now that you've shared the details, then you finally separate. What next for you? Like, did you have a plan?
That was such a hard time of my life because
just...
I had no plan. Remember I was working. I had I quit my job the year before 10 months before we separated. Quit my job, was financially dependent on him in every single way. And then he goes and quits his job too in the middle of all of this because he wanted to pursue his career and his passion and photography. And so I'm running my small business. He's running a small business. Girl, the finances are messy. It's not looking cute at all.
Yeah.
So it's in the middle of this financial disaster that we're both created that all of this is happening. So I don't have a car because we only had one car. We don't have a home because now we rented it out to some other people. Nothing of mine is making sense. I don't have a job. My business is not at the stage where it can sustain me. But thankfully, my parents got me a car.
Oh, you went back home?
I didn't go back home. No, they bought me a car while I was living in Johannesburg because they're on the coast. They live in Mpangeni. It's a small coastal town. They bought me a car. So I was able to move around and run my business in a way. And I think they supported me financially. Yeah, because girl, my business couldn't do nothing for me. And then one of my best friends housed me.
Yeah.
So I stayed with her for like about 6 to 8 months
Okay.
until I got myself onto my
So,
feet.
most women struggle to leave because they're waiting for the plan to be so clear.
Oh no.
Like, you can still live with amidst the mess and figure it out, because there's never going to be like a perfect time, which is what most women actually say. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting.
Girl, you will wait
for
for
my
life.
money, and then
Yeah.
then you
But
stay
I
there.
must say, I'm thankful we didn't have children, because I think that would have made
That
the wait
would have,
longer.
yeah.
It would have made me think, oh, but the father of the children, oh, but this, but
Yeah.
it would have made a lot of, it would have delayed the process. But it was just me. And I knew
It's
that if
easier.
anything gets really tough, I've got a home. My dad always said that. He was like, there is no one that has chased you away from this house. You always have a room in
I
this house.
love that.
Like, me
I
too,
love that.
right?
And how was he telling them?
How was he?
Telling your parents?
Whew. It wasn't easy.
How did they receive it?
They received it. They were shocked initially, and overwhelmed. And I think it was hard for them because this is the pastor's daughter. Do you know what I mean? So
Image.
we had this big, beautiful
Yeah.
wedding. Now she's coming back home. Away. So I think it was very hard on them, much harder on it than it was on me, because I had already done all the processing months before.
Yes. So now everyone is shocked.
Yeah, everybody's shocked. My dad was so shocked. My mom was shocked.
They didn't see it coming. You looked happy out there.
Yeah, my mom says she kind of saw it coming because we did visit home after the April talk. So, like it was May, but we were just roommates.
Yes.
Just fulfilling the duty of, being there. So my mom kind of saw it, but my dad was completely blindsided. I remember he came, actually, he flew in the next weekend or 2 weekends later to talk to both of us. And my ex refused to join. So it was just me and my dad that were together.
Ooh, that's like the nail on the
nail on the
like
coffin.
there are more nails.
Look.
At this point, there are just more nails on that. Like, nope, I'm not coming to meet your dad. Nope,
He's not. He wasn't
interested.
about that life.
Yeah.
He wasn't about that life.
Ooh, how has it been then to now reinventing yourself, finding yourself again? Because you lost yourself, as you said.
It was, yeah.
How was that process for you, the healing process?
It was a lot. And I can't say it's over. I can't say it's over.
That's interesting.
It's still going on. It's still going on.
Yeah.
So the process was difficult, or let me say it was challenging, but I had a lot of support because I have a supportive family. I have a therapist. I have a life coach.
Wow, that's nice.
I've got friends, a community, church family. Like I have people that are there for me. And even if there was potential for like stigma and whatnot, because I had a good support system, it didn't like knock me over per se. So reinventing myself was a lot of working with what I like, going back to who I originally was, really finding my identity, spending a lot of time alone, healing, journaling, doing a lot of meditation, because I also but I just continued my meditation habits at the time, a lot of introspection and trying to figure out what was it that this relationship was there to teach me.
Because that's what I was coming to. What did it teach you?
So much.
Especially about yourself.
So much. One, don't ever get into a relationship for like to feel better. Don't do that. Like I had major self-esteem issues. So before I met him, was it before or just before I met him or in the middle of our meeting days, I was 20 kgs overweight. And so I was feeling like very...
I watch your weight transformation and I'm like, ooh, wow.
Yeah. So like I was feeling very fat and ugly and like unwanted because every single crush I had was unrecruited. And so he was the only guy that was actually looking in my direction. And so I made the decision to go with him because, I mean, what was I going to do? Just sit around and wait until what, you know? So I just went with that. And I made a decision from a low self-esteem place point of view. I learned that it's important not to sacrifice yourself in a relationship because it's not sustainable.
True.
You can't do that.
Very true.
You
We just
can't.
talked about it in our previous episode.
Yeah.
Like you can't act for too long.
No. No, be yourself.
Just be you. Yes.
Be yourself as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
I still find myself getting into patterns of pretending or trying too hard.
But you're aware.
But I'm aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm aware now. And then I pull back and I'm just like, actually, that's not who I am. Wait, hold on. I don't want you to get used to something that is not sustainable here. I've also learned that like marriage is not the be all end all of life. Like for me, it was so important to have the title of Mrs. that in it being stripped away, I realized that I am a person, a whole person before, you know, the titles and all of that. Like I really got down to my own, who am I? I'm still answering the question, but it really helped
I get
me.
it. I'm just thinking technically, you went through the process of changing names.
Yes.
How hard was it to go back to just you? Look at your face.
Girl. I was so disappointed. 4 years later, now I'm having to change everything back.
Ooh. Hectic.
Going back to myself was hard, but it wasn't too difficult. Because I had space. I had given myself space. I had allowed myself to just take time. In fact, I wanted to give myself about a year or two to just unfold and be myself and whatnot. So I gave myself that space. And then did the technicalities of having to go file for the divorce and
you had
through.
to initiate.
Yeah. No, I initiated it.
Yeah.
Because I'm the one who wanted it. He wanted a second wife. He wanted to add her to the fold. He wanted to add her to the fold. And I was like, no, I don't want to be first wife. I'm sorry. It's not the mandate that I wanted to sign up for. So I'm the one that had to file. And and that's why I say it was amicable, because he didn't fuss at all. He signed the papers. It all went through.
At least that was smooth for you.
Yeah, it was very smooth.
At least.
It was very smooth.
So let's talk about this part of your life where you're now a life coach.
Yes.
You're now a mom.
Girl.
You found love again. What did it take for you to trust again the process? Because I believe it can be a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's two things. One, I did not make it mean anything about me, the fact that he cheated.
Love it.
It had nothing to do with me.
Nothing to do with you.
Absolutely nothing.
Yes.
Doesn't mean that I'm an ugly person. Doesn't mean that I'm disrespectful, even though he tried to say that. Like, he was just like, yeah, it's because you're disrespectful. You're not satisfying my needs as a wife. I was like, listen, it has nothing to do with me. It's your choice to have walked out on the promises that we had made. Yeah. Because I could have easily, also, I'm not an ugly girl. I could have easily gone and helped myself on the outside. Yeah. But I didn't.
Yeah.
So I didn't make it mean anything about me. So entering new relationships, I didn't have the self-consciousness or the need for external validation, because I was already validated.
That's nice.
Myself.
That's lovely.
And then the second thing was really learning that the part of me that attracted him was the part of me that didn't love myself properly.
Oof.
Right?
That's deep.
I know.
That's deep.
So I did a lot of self-love work with my coach. I did a lot of self-love work with my therapist, and really just deepening that self-love has been what kind of changed the game for me. And this is the work that I do as a coach now. I really help people to deepen their self-love. In fact, I have an Attract Your Dream Man course that I was running recently. And the module that I just delivered on Sunday was about self-love and how important and how integral and how magnetic self-love makes you to the things that you desire and the things that you want. So that's the work that I did. Depersonalized or detached from the initial relationship and the way that things unfolded. I didn't make it my fault. And then secondly, loving myself is what really helped me to step into the new reality that I wanted to create for myself. Yeah.
But you ooze that.
Oh, really?
You ooze it,
Go,
and then I
girl.
see it through your daughter.
Stop it.
She's so bold.
Oh, she
I
is.
still laugh at the ice cream thing. Like, I'm done here in church, in the middle of church. Mommy, I'm done here.
I
Let's go.
can't
Like, you
deal.
ooze that confidence
I
and a lot
laughed
of
my head off.
happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So you've done the work. It's
Girl,
visible. It's
thank you.
visible.
Thank
Were you
you.
scared of getting married again?
No.
Ah,
I'm not
love
scared of
it.
marriage at all, girl. I could do it again and again.
That's how you know you got it right.
And listen, I'm not scared of marriage because it's not the marriage that caused the drama.
Yeah,
it's not.
It's a person.
It's no. In fact, every marriage, even if you know J-Lo's string of marriages, Kimora Lee Simmons string.
Yes.
Every single relationship has got a purpose.
Yeah.
And once you know the purpose, then you step out of the pain. Like, then it's no
nice.
longer painful. Like, because the reason, the way I was able to step out of the pain from my first marriage was understanding what the purpose was. Okay, it was for me to grow, to evolve, to expand, to learn these things.
Yeah.
There's a purpose for this relationship that I'm in my current marriage. And in the event, I don't know, because life is life. If something happens and the purpose is complete, hi, mama.
I love your attitude.
Right?
Like, this is a different offense that we are seeing from the one that we were talking about pre. Very different.
Yeah.
Two different girls.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think it comes from just, I don't know, confidence that I got me. I'm
enough.
Yeah, I'm enough.
Yes.
It's that I'm enoughness, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I remember I wrote that on my mirror in 2017.
Yeah.
And I would read it every day. Like I wrote it in lipstick and I'd be like, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough. I really struggled with enoughness issues. And so, I mean, it's so liberating to feel it as opposed to just saying it as an affirmation. It's amazing.
You radiate
It really
it.
is. Thank you.
I see it. I
thank
love
you.
it. Oh my God. I love it. Like, whatever you're now getting in the marriage is just bonus, because you're enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a young girl going through divorce right now.
Yeah.
Maybe they got married really young. It's not working out, or they're thinking of, that period where you've said you are out but not out because you can't be out in your head. What would you tell that young girl today?
Man, I meet a lot of these young girls.
Yeah.
And I think, I asked them one question of, but what about you? What about your happiness, right? What about what matters to you? What do you want out of this life? Because a lot of the times the reason why people don't want to move on from relationships, even when the purpose has been fulfilled, is fear. Fear
of the unknown. Yes.
Fear of being shamed by the community, fear of maybe even the things that they've gone through. Because when people break up and then their stories come out and they're like, this man never took you out on a date ever. Or like, this man cheated on you 17 times. What do you mean? Like when all of those stories come out, then people feel super ashamed.
When the truth comes out.
Yeah, when the truth comes out, because there's so much secrecy because we're trying to protect this thing because we're afraid of being alone.
Yeah.
So what would I say to her? I would really say, you need to figure out what you want and you need to prioritize yourself and love yourself so deeply that something that is not aligning with your deepest desires, you're able to discern and you're able to move knowing and being confident that you can get what you want. Like my mantra in life is what I want exists and what I want wants me. So I would literally try and guide her to begin to think in that direction.
I love that.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard.
But it's a journey. Nothing good comes easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just have to work towards
it. It.
Yeah.
And get support, because I feel like we trick one another as girls. Like if you have girlfriends that are also sitting in the fear, that are like, oh, friend, you're 30-something. There's no ways. You can't just leave this man. What are you going to do? Or friend, you've got a baby. What are you going to do? Or, all the different fear mongering that happens. If you don't have a supportive community that believes in you and that believes that what you want exists and
It's gonna
you
be
deserve
very
it,
hard.
it's going to be hard to do the shift.
You have to get that community, the right community.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It may look like therapy. life coach.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Because
right.
if we listen to everyone, we will never move.
You will never.
You'll never move.
You will never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So even as we wrap up, I'm sure there's someone who's really, really learned. Because your journey, even how you speak, we can tell the growth. You put in the work.
Thanks, girl.
Yeah. Tell people, where can they reach you? Because I know you're a life coach.
Yes. Yeah.
Where can they reach you? How can they reach you?
Yeah, I'm reachable on Instagram. Instagram is the platform that I'm most active on. Instagram, TikTok at Ofentse and Tsipa. I'm sure you guys are going to write it down somewhere.
Yeah.
And you can even email me at ofentseandtsipa@gmail.com if you are interested in actually booking a session. I'm going on maternity leave, as you can tell.
Yeah.
But when I come back, then you guys can book. I'll open up my calendar. So if it's closed, you must know that it's because I'm away.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you. If you enjoyed this episode, resonated with this episode, or know someone who needs to listen to this episode, please share it with them. Subscribe, leave your comments. Let's know what you think. If this is an experience that you've also been able to overcome, share with us. We are curious to hear your feedback. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for making it this far.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yay, congratulations.
See you in a
to
few
you
weeks with baby. Yeah. Until next time. Bye-bye.